I noticed this tree was down a week or two ago, and we need to get this up, get the mess cleaned up, and we need to have our lawn back, get these last leaves up and everything. And I thought I'd bring my chainsaw and kind of clean that up for us. But we don't do anything without preparing. We have to think things through. We have to have a plan going forward. And I got to thinking about it. Just as we prepare for taking a tree up that's fallen down on our property, Advent is a season of preparation. What are we doing? Are we preparing our hearts? I don't know about you, but a lot of times I just kind of go through the motions with Advent. I'm just counting down the days until Christmas. Yeah, I get my, my checklist. I get my shopping done and things like that. But am I preparing my heart? What's that look like? So I thought we'd talk about this today. So I thought, well, there's probably some similarities in preparing to work on a project like this around our house or church property with preparing our hearts for God. It is all about preparation, isn't it? So first of all, I thought, first thing you do is you go to the store. Do you have everything you need? Do you have fuel? Do you have oil? Do you have a chainsaw blade? What about the resources for us as spiritual people? We have a church that we can go to, or we participate at church online. So there's a similarity there, isn't there? A lot of the resources that we use in our spiritual life are at church. And I don't know about you, but I like going to my resource. I like going to the hardware store maybe once or twice. And try not to make it a 4 or 5 trip ordeal or project that we go through. Well, we want to go to church and we want to be effective. We want to get what we need. We want to get filled so that we have everything that we need to complete a project. The second one is, I think about it, PPE. What does our personal protective equipment look like? For me, doing a project like this, I want to have the right work boots. I want to have something that I can put on and not worry about sliding all over the place. I have gloves here. I brought my safety goggles. Put those on here in a minute. But when you think about our spiritual life, what is our PPE? Well, are we prayed up? I think of how much I can accomplish when I'm prayed up, when people are praying for me. Think of doing my morning devotions, being involved in a Bible study. What about you? What helps you get prepared? And then do we have the right tools? So this is it's a neat little thing here. I have a remote control for my winch. If I needed to pull this tree, I could do that. But I think we're going to cut it up in place. Just going to make sure that everything I need is ready to go. We have the fuel we need. If we're talking about it from a spiritual aspect, what gives us our energy? What gives us our drive? For me, part of that is just being around other Christians like myself, being around people that have my same belief system and can support me when I'm not doing all that well. Do we have chainsaw? You need to have lubrication. Lubrication for us as a church might be working with others, feeling them kind of easing our way through the day. I couldn't do what I did in what I do in church if it weren't for having others around me who keep me lubricated. It's working with others that I find most rewarding and helps my day run smoother. What helps your day run smoothly? I think these are all things we need to think about when we're preparing. I couldn't do anything. I mean, this is great, but what if there was no action then? What if I didn't do anything? I just stood here. Well, I've got the chainsaw, I've got the fuel, I've got everything I need, I've got my PPE, but I just don't do anything. That sounds crazy, doesn't it? Well, how many times do we as a church do that, though? We come in Sunday, we get nourished, we get filled, we talk to other folks who are like-minded, but there's something missing there. We get all dressed up with nowhere to go because we're missing the action stage. So as we go into Advent this year, I would invite you to think about preparing your heart, to visit your local church, worship online if that's what the only resource that you have available to you. But if you have a local church, I'd encourage you to get involved there. I'd encourage you to put on your protective wear. Find out what it is that helps you sustain the temptations and trials of life. For me, it's being constant in my daily devotions. Every morning I start my day with a prayer and a devotion. Throughout the day, I reinforce that day with prayer. I study my Bible. That's one of my chief tools. Communion, taking communion whenever it's offered, offering confession to God for those things that I've done wrong, but repenting and turning away from things that I know are wrong for me. They're not the best that God has in mind for me. But then, it's a call to action. None of that is valuable. None of that works at all if we don't do anything with it. So I invite you, get involved.